Welcome, welcome to B3rdPower. Listen, I know I'm here all by myself. It's okay. Sherry is out of town right now, but we are wishing her safe travels. Of course, we miss her, but in her absence, you know what I'll do. I'll go ahead and hold it down because we have an amazing show in store for you tonight. So why don't I go ahead and get you caught up with some of the amazing things that I've had going on this past week. First of all, let me go ahead and shout out. I had a wonderful time this weekend. I was, I guess you could say, a guest host on the radio show Smooth Hour. So I want to give a shout out to Tony, Easy, and Bubba. I had a fantastic time with you gentlemen. Thank you so much for your support and for having me on. Listen, y'all know how it is. It's no secret. Anybody that watches this show, you know that I'm a Cowboys fan. Let me tell you, when I walked up in that studio this weekend, I was surrounded by Washington football fans, and they let me have it about this upcoming, well, at that time, the upcoming playoff game. But you know, they tried to tell me they was gonna post all these pictures of me with them in their jerseys should the Washington football team win. You know, while it's unfortunate yet fortunate that y'all on the couch with us too. I just want to say I ain't seen none of them pictures. Oh wait, that's cause you lost. I told y'all the Buccaneers was gonna win that game. Where is Sherry? I wish Sherry was here right now because you know, Sherry's a Washington football team fan too, but it's all good, y'all. But I had a great time chatting with them. I'm telling you, if you love radio, go ahead and check them out. They are on NRL Radio on Fridays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11. They're a good group of guys. Check them out. They each have something amazing going on. So shout out to the Smooth Hour over at NRL Radio. Had a fantastic time with you all. In addition to that, I want to make sure that I let you guys know, be sure if you love our show and you have been waiting to be a guest on B3rdPower, guess what? The calendar is now open for new people to come on as guests. If you're interested and you would love to join us, be sure to email us at b3rdpower@gmail.com. That's b3rdpower@gmail.com. We are looking for some amazing movers and shakers in the community at large, whether you're local, national, or abroad, we are definitely looking for you. We want to highlight the great news and the great things that you are doing to help build our community, to be intentional, and definitely help us to bridge those gaps in our relationships, right? Awesome sauce. And now, the last thing I want to remind you of before I get into this fantastic show with my amazing guest tonight, okay? Remember to go on over to YouTube. If you've missed a few episodes and you want to go back and check them out, and or if you saw an episode that you was like, that was good, I gotta chew on that some more. Make sure you go on over to YouTube and like our channel, subscribe to our channel. That's B3rdPower. Okay, that's on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. And as the people say, make sure you hit that bell, baby, so you can be notified when we go live or when we post new content, because we have some amazing things that'll be taking place in 2021 on our YouTube channel. And as always, you can always go on over to B3rdPower.com to keep up with us with everything else we have going on. I know I had so many amazing announcements, right? Did you get all that down? What was the key thing to do? B3RD Power. Whether it's you want to check us out online, B3rdPower.com and or B3rdPower@gmail.com if you want to email us. And what I say our YouTube channel is, come on now, B3RD Power, okay? Check us out. But enough about that. We have an amazing show tonight. I'm super excited because this is the first episode of 2021 that our resident critic will be with us for the Critics Corner. That is no other than Jeffrey Lyles. And baby, we have so many things to catch up on because there has been so many new releases of TV shows and movies to streaming. You know he's going to tell us all the goods to watch and all the duds to avoid, right? Then we have an amazing young lady from Kenya that will be joining us. She's doing amazing things. Do you hear me? She is a wounded healer, or the founder of Wounded Healers, and that is none other than Eunice Nuna. I can't wait to sit down and chat with her, and you definitely want to stay tuned so you can get to know all about what she's doing, how she's making an impact globally. Listen, you don't want to miss it. And the only way you're going to do that is do what? Stay tuned, baby. Well, you know, in order for us to get to them, we're going to have to take a quick break. But when we come back, it's the Critics Corner, baby, with our resident critic, Mr. Jeffrey Lyles of Lyles Movie Files. This is B3rdPower here on You Broadcast Media.
Global Executive Staffing provides top-level executive staffing to federal and private sector companies globally at the most competitive price. They are experts in coordinating and expediting projects from design to development. Global Executive Staffing is a Department of Veterans Affairs, Center for Veterans, certified service-disabled veteran-owned small business. To connect with Global Executive Staffing, go to www.gestaff.com.
B to the Third Power here on You Broadcast Media. I told y'all I'm super excited to have him back in the house. It's our resident critic, Mr. Jeffrey Lyles. How are you today? And Happy New Year. Oh my goodness, I forgot to tell everybody Happy New Year. Yes. So, listen. I'm excited to have you. I was like, when Jeffrey come this time, I got a lot to talk to him about. I'm gonna let you get started with your critic and tell us what you liked and what you didn't like, and we'll dialogue about what I have it.
All right, so on Christmas we had 2 streaming options that you could watch for free on Disney Plus or HBO Max. Disney Plus had Soul. It's the animated comedy or family film starring Jamie Foxx. Really cute, really unexpected. I think Pixar does a really great job of putting out these movies where you watch the trailer, you think you know what it's about, and it's nothing like it.
Totally not what you thought.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it really it's about exploring and pursuing your passions, but not making them your entire life, and just enjoying the journey that is life. And I think this was probably the first one of the Pixar films where I felt it was more focused towards adults than kids. Whereas like kids could enjoy it because like, oh look, the little cute.
It's animation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting there, you know, with the daughter, son, grandchild, it's like, whoa, oh man, I feel like this is talking to me. So it was really good. I really enjoyed that one.
It was. And I did get a chance to see it. And you're absolutely right. I loved the take home of pursuing your passion, but at the same time, not becoming so consumed that you're not able to enjoy life. Because I feel like that's what people do anyway. Like if we weren't even just talking about your passion, people do it with work. Like, oh my goodness, you make work your life, but then you have nothing outside of it. Your quality of life is not there because you're not enjoying it. You're not taking the time to smell the roses and to watch the ocean waves, right?
And appreciating the people around you. I thought it was so cool, the barbershop scene, because that's something we hadn't seen in Pixar, where it's just Black culture. It's the barbershop scene. And I was like, yes, that is how a barbershop is. And I really enjoyed that scene and just the interaction with him and his mother. And it was really neat because he was seeing it from the kind of perspective that we don't get to see how we interact with others.
Exactly.
I really like it. Then on the other side, go ahead.
I know I was going to say, and that's one of the things that I liked about it, because he was able to see himself through someone else's eyes. Like he was able to see that, and they're like, why we never talked like this before? Oh, because you never did this, or you never asked, or you never seemed interested. And it's like, man, it was a whole epiphany he got. But yeah, I love the movie. I love that.
Then on the other side, a movie I did not like on so many levels was HBO Max's Wonder Woman 1984. And I can't stress to you how much I love the first film. Thought it was really well done. Felt that Gal Gadot was every bit the Wonder Woman superhero that we wanted to see on the big screen since we watched. I'm sure you're like at my age. We watched Linda Carter on the small screen, and seeing her on the big screen was so cool. But gosh, the sequel was so disappointing, so bad, so inept on every level. There's just so much wrong with it. Patty Jenkins, the director / co-writer, said she wanted to make this feel like a movie that was done in the 80s, and mission accomplished. But that's not a good thing in 2020 or 2021 where you're watching this now. It's just like, come on.
I was about to say, because with everything that moves so fast, like when you think of an action movie or a superhero movie, you get the action right away. Like they're grabbing you right away. And I did feel like they took a lot of time setting up the story, which was okay, but then it lost me because I'm thinking this is a superhero movie. I'm looking for more action and less setting up story. So I'm looking for more action than story. Yeah, than that. So I'm not going to go all the way and say that it was totally bad, because my family was like, if you had stayed, it got better. But it was like, I'm like, it's taking too long to get where I want to get. And I ended up getting up and doing something else. I ear hustled from another room, but I didn't finish it because I just felt like the setup was just too long. Like I was looking for action, something that you get right away normally when you watch an action film. That's my take.
Your ear hustle wasn't making you decide, wait, I need to come back and sit down.
No. And they called me several times and I was like, what's that? But then I was like, never mind. But that's not to say I won't go back and watch it again, maybe pick up where I left off, but I did get up and walk away. I have to admit that.
I don't feel like you were missing much. My main thing with the superhero movie is I need to see the superhero in their outfit. I don't need to see them wearing clothes that anybody will wear in any other movie. I mean, the whole point of being a superhero is like, I want to see Robert Downey Jr. in that Iron Man suit. I don't want to see him hanging out and just like being a business guy.
You're right. And I want to see it right away. I want to see it within the first 10 minutes. I want something to indicate where it's go time.
Right. And it's a superhero movie and it's not the first one. I'm a little bit more lenient on the origin film because like, all right, we got to build up to the part where they're fun and then they're costume the whole time. Right. But not in the sequel. And they had all kinds of issues with how they brought back Steve, which was a problem I didn't think they needed to introduce.
And then they took, that's ruining it for people. Never mind.
I'm not going to spoil it.
That's why I had to stop myself because I was like, dang. But we'll talk about that offline. But
it was all kinds of issues. And they didn't do a very good job establishing the villains because they had gone really hard with one of them. And then by the final act, they were like, well, let's ease on back and maybe not show. Yeah. And then the other one, it was just so fast. It was like they were pressing fast forward on the development to get them to that villain spot. And it didn't work either. So Wonder Woman had a lot of problems with me. And unlike you, I probably won't ever watch it again.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah. I wish I could have walked away like you did.
Yeah, I get it. But then if you had walked away, you wouldn't have been able to give what you gave because I can only give up until the part that I walked away. Because I think after they said, I was like, how long is this movie? And they were like 2 hours. I was like, I can't. But at least you got way further than I did to finish the Critic for this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the responsibility. But yeah. Without that, I would have walked away.
Right. Yeah. So what else did you watch? Because we've been chatting. So
the other film that I really have had on my list to watch, but have kind of been on a silent protest because I didn't like the way the writer, Christopher Nolan was doing it, was Tenet. So I finally watched that. That was the big blockbuster that, despite the fact we're in the middle of this pandemic, he was just insistent on getting out to theaters. And it's not safe in the theaters, really. And people are really not going. Numbers are still going high. And I was like, I'm not seeing the movie, right? So I finally just watched it like last week. And I'm really mad at him because I love the movie. I mean, it was so good. It reminded me of some of his films like Inception and Memento with a lot of James Bond flair. He has James David Washington in it. That's Denzel Washington and Paul, his son. Yeah. He's so good. And he really, I felt the whole James Bond vibe he was giving throughout the movie. And I just wish more people had gotten the appropriate way to see it. Even if you had to wait till this time next year to put it out. So people who are comfortable going to the theaters to watch it en masse and be like, yo, this movie's so good. But it was like everybody's seen it kind of piecemeal. And because you set something up and you kind of demand audiences to see it a certain way, they're going to judge it harder. And I thought some people were, it's not that good because they were watching it at home, distracted on their phones. It didn't make sense, but it does if you just watch the movie. And I feel like it's out on Blu-ray, DVD or whatever, and still not on HBO Max. And I think if Warner Brothers had pushed that movie to December 25th on Christmas Day instead of Wonder Woman, that would get all the buzz his soul is getting.
Yeah. So you said that's called Tenet?
Yep.
Okay, I gotta write that down. But that's only in theaters. That's something I gotta wait until it comes.
No, you can order it right now from Amazon and get it delivered to you tomorrow if you have Amazon Prime.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But it was good. I liked it a lot.
Okay, I have not seen that, but I will check that out because
I'm not going to spoil anything on it.
Because I will say that your batting average for these movies and shows has been pretty good. So I'm gonna check that one out.
I'll take it. Okay, very good. So then, one you definitely don't need to see is Redemption Day. This is a movie, first one I did this year. It stars Gary Dourdan. You might remember him from CSI.
Yes.
So he is a former soldier. His wife gets kidnapped in Morocco. So then he has to put on the action hero vest and guns and go save her. but it's totally boring. It's like there's no action. And I'm thinking I'm going to see a Liam Neeson movie where he's just shooting, firing away at everybody. And it's about 90 minutes. It's probably about a good 75-minute mark before we start seeing some real action. And that's too late.
Yeah.
It's just too much talking, waste of time. So there is no redemption for Redemption Day. Don't bother with that one.
Okay.
All right, so at home. Yeah, so at home, I'm watching a bunch of Netflix shows like you are.
Yes.
We talked about this earlier.
We did.
We both watched Bridgerton.
We did. We both watched Bridgerton.
And one of the things that I've never watched Downton Abbey because I'm like, yo, I need some melanin in this show. So I've never watched it. Mm-hmm. And Bridgerton was the answer to people like me who were like, yes, okay, cool. You want to see a little diversity. And Bridgerton was like, here's all your diversity and more. And this is Shonda Rhimes' project. And it has that feel right away from 50 plot threads that are just thrown at you in 8 episodes. And it's like, whoa, slow some of this down. Let it play out some more.
Right.
Y'all could have saved some of these plots for season 3. It was so much. I really liked the cast. I thought they did a great job. I loved how they incorporated the music where it was contemporary songs with the old school flavor. So that was great. But yeah, some of it was on fast forward, and I really wish they'd slowed it down. And what did you think about that one?
So I watched the whole thing. I'm going to tell you, I watched the first episode, and I called my mom and I said, Mom, watch the first episode of Bridgerton. And I think you're going to really like this. She said, okay. Which for me, I like those type of movies because like I've watched The Pride and the Prejudice and I've watched, different type of movies like that and in that genre. So I was like looking forward to it. I was like, okay. But then I called her and told her about it. The next morning, I'm talking to her and she's like, I didn't go to bed until 7:30 in the morning. And I was like, wow, why did you not go to bed? What happened? She said, I sat up and I watched, you told me to watch the show and I watched the whole season up until 7:30 in the morning. And I was like, it's that good? She said, you got to go back and watch it. It's that good. I was like, okay. So I did watch all of it. I probably finished it maybe the next day.
Oh, wow.
Running in the back between 2 days, I finished it, running it in the background. But I liked it. And I was actually happy to find out that there is a book series. And so even though a lot was in this one season, all these books that I see that go along with Bridgerton, I have a feeling there's going to be way more to cover over these seasons to come. So I'm looking forward to it. I almost want to go buy the books and read. And then I'm like, I don't know, because that might be pushing myself down a rabbit hole I'm not ready for. So I don't know yet. But I did. So
the interesting thing with it is it hasn't been renewed for season 2 yet, but it's got so much buzz. I don't think that's not a persistence. They're going to bring it back.
Yeah.
But each book is based on a different Bridgerton sibling. So, we had one, and now the next season's going to focus on some of the other.
Yes. Which is good because you kind of rotate because
they kind of wrapped that storyline anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say they kind of wrapped it up. So it wasn't nothing else there. It's a couple of characters that I would love to see the rest of their story, what happened to them. So I look forward to it. That's what I'll say. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. It's good. And I'm glad that there's definitely different storylines to follow behind and find out what happened with the other characters. So that makes me happy.
And speaking of seeing us on TV a little bit more, I have to confess, super reality TV junkie. This is the kickoff to The Bachelor. And this is the very first time the show has had a black bachelor. It had 2 black bachelorettes, but this is the first time we got a guy. And they have more black potential suitors for him and far less other representative groups. And so that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to go because I feel like it's going to be the same thing we've seen with the first 2 black bachelorettes, and I'm going to be disappointed in the end. But I'm enjoying seeing all the different people in there represented on the show. So that's exciting, and I will continue to give you updates as we come on and do this.
Absolutely.
About our Black Bachelor.
So now you're going to make me have to go watch it so I can keep up with our updates.
Yeah, you have to.
But there's a couple of shows. Do you watch Marrying Millions?
So I watched Married at First Sight, which also started. It's had like its build up the last 2 weeks. So I tape it a little bit so I have an extra half hour, and I always watch them like, how is this dude still with this girl? She's like, what, 20? And he's like 70. It's so ridiculous. I'm like, how are they still together? This is wild. And
I think that's what hooked me in. I wasn't watching any of it, but then it was like my mom and my daughter started watching it, and so they were like, you gotta watch it, it's good. And then I got stuck because some of these people, I am like, now how you work that one out? And I'm like, it's interesting when you get to those type of age gaps. I'll say this, it's interesting when your significant other is older than your parent.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting combination.
That's all kinds of out of whack and everything. So it is very interesting. Are you watching Married at First Sight?
I did. I came in the middle of it. Like, I was a Married at First Sight person when the series first came out. And I think I stuck in 3 seasons and then I kind of fell off. And so this is my first time watching it since season 3. And so I've caught up. I know, like, I didn't even know they had a show where they brought all the couples that made it to show where they are and how they. So I'm like, oh, this is like really taking off.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy the last season, the half of it, the end of what I saw. It was pretty good.
Now, if you want some extra reading or viewing, Netflix has season 9, and that is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. So season 9 and this one, and just completed season 11. Okay. 2 of my favorites. And, and I'm not going to spoil much, but it's because they have a higher number of couples that stay together, which I want that investment to pay off.
Yeah.
And we see some of those couples on Couples Camp, which is another great TV show, reality nature. So yeah.
Yes.
Love that one.
I would check out season 9.
Yes.
Check out season 9.
Yeah, that's good TV.
Yeah. Well, Jeffrey, it's always a pleasure having you. I love talking to you. And today we got even more time. So we were able to do more shows. So that was pretty exciting. God dang it, that was exciting. But anyway, so time flies when we're having fun. But if you want to keep up with Jeffrey Lyles and all of his movie files, go over to YouTube and check him out at Lyles Movie Files. You can also find him at lylesmoviefiles.com. Okay, go hook up with him. You'll get more critiques along the way, or more critic reviews of more things if you follow him directly, not just only on our show. All right, so go check out Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. But time flies. But when we come back after this quick break, we'll be sitting down with Eunice Nuna of Wounded Healers. This is B3rdPower here on You Broadcast Media.
Global Executive Staffing provides top-level executive staffing to federal and private sector companies globally at the most competitive price. They are experts in coordinating and expediting projects from design to development. Global Executive Staffing is a Department of Veterans Affairs, Center for Veterans, certified service-disabled veteran-owned small business. To connect with Global Executive Staffing, go to www.gestaff.com.
Welcome back to B3rdPower here on You Broadcast Media. Listen, I'm sorry yet not sorry, guys. But we had a little hiccup because I was still running my mouth with Jeffrey about that movie, about that show that I was watching. But it's all good. We want to welcome Miss Eunice Nuna, a founder of Wounded Healers Kenya. Now, Nuna, because we call her Nuna. Tell us a little bit about Wounded Healers.
Wounded Healer Kenya is a charity foundation that's found in Kenya, and is basically community of women survivors of sexual violence. It is made by young women survivors of sexual violence who we went through sexual violence, and we came together and we wanted to prevent it from happening to anybody else. So Wounded Healer exists to end the cycle of sexual violence, and we exist also to restore dignity to the survivors of sexual violence, and to offer security, because security is one thing for me, like me personally, is very important, because so many things have happened in my life, and due to lack of security, I have found myself in situations that I can't even explain. And that's something that I am passionate about, to providing a safe space for young girls survivors of sexual violence, and also a space that is going to give them opportunities and tools and skills to be able to grow themselves individually and to grow the community around them.
Yes, because you yourself have an amazing story, and we've talked about it before. Sexual violence in Africa it's rampant. It happens more often than people think it does.
Oh, yes.
And if you don't mind, can just to prove the point, can you share a little bit of your own personal story of what has happened to you?
At 18 years, I was dreaming of going to college just like any other person. And at 17 years, I finished my Form 4, and I wanted to go and be a doctor or a clinical officer. That was my dream. But after I finished high school, the society had other expectations. And I did not have an opportunity. My parents don't have an opportunity to give me money to pay for my school fees. And so I was forced to look for money by myself. So that's how I traveled. I'm born and brought up in the village. So I traveled to the city in search of money so that I could get my high school certificate with the hope that I will get to go to university.
Right.
But when I got to Nairobi, I was very naive, and a stranger took advantage of me. And because I didn't know so much about the city, and so many people go through the same and they don't even know how to say it, because it's, for me, it was said like I am being introduced to the city life. So it was a difficult time for me, and I could not even talk about it because, again, the person who did that is a person that I expected to offer me security.
Yeah.
So, and by that happening to me, and I was not taught what I'm supposed to do when it happened, I ended up having a very miserable life after, and I got a child out of it. And now that only made me dedicate my life to offering the awareness, the skill to tell people that if this happened, you can do this and this and this. Because till then, like today, there are so many diseases. Like people are when someone is raped, can get pregnant or even get HIV, get all these diseases.
Yes.
And when a child is raped, when a girl is raped, because of discrimination and stigmatization, they don't know where to go. Because whenever someone is raped, the first thing that comes to the society mind is to tell them, is like to blame the survivor. Like the first question, how are you dressed? Where were you at that time? Why did you come to the city alone? So I dedicated my life to be the voice of all the other girls, and to be the voice of even the elder women who have gone through this, and they feel so ashamed to talk about it. So I started becoming a storyteller, and I started telling my story. I started using my story as a way of creating awareness. And whenever I would tell my story, I would have somebody, even an older person, come to me and tell me they're survivors of sexual violence. And I was able to go to university through well-wishers. And I wanted to do counseling psychology because I wanted to offer myself to listening to other person professionally. So I got a degree in counseling psychology that I do with a lot of passion, because it's a call, it's a ministry that God put in me, that I can be able to help a broken soul. I can be able to be there for someone who really need an unjudgmental person to listen to. So that's basically what Wounded Healer is all about.
Absolutely. And I love that, because like you said, I know more of your story than we're able to say on air, but you're right, because sometimes the very people that are causing or that are violating you are people that are supposed to protect you, people that you're trusting to look after you. And so when you've been violated by someone that you trusted or was supposed to be able to trust, or that was to protect you, who else do you tell? So I can only imagine how hard that was for you. And like you said, it was more than just not only did you not have anybody to trust, but then psychologically you were going through your own set of things too, because you had no one to talk to. You looked at it, and then you got a child out of it as well. So my goodness, that's a lot to digest. But look at you now. You have taken that brokenness and you have turned it around to be a healer for others and to help protect them. And I think that is so amazing. So what are some of the things that if you were to look for, like, how can we help? Like, tell us a little bit about how we as a community can get involved, a global community can get involved with helping you with your initiative to continue to help young girls be able to navigate the waters if they've been violated, as well as to help them prevent them. How can we help you guys?
For now, I have been able to rescue 11 girls that are under my care. Like, I only came to America this year. So before I came, I had done a lot of work and I rescued 11 girls who I became like a guardian for them.
Yeah.
So those girls, they depend on me. Like, I would give you an example, just a small example of sanitary towels, sanitary pads.
Yes.
Sanitary pads in Kenya, you find that so many teenagers get themselves to having sex in return of getting sanitary towels. So because they're not readily available. And again, we are in a culture that is not giving them freely, and even the information.
Yeah.
So you find that the girls, I provide for them basic needs like such things and food for them wherever they are. Like our organization has been able to start with them. Some have cases in the court that we follow up on them, and some others the trauma happened from their immediate family. So we have to move them from the environment and put them in a safer place. So one of our biggest dream as wounded healers is to be able to build a rescue center. Because as you know, the other part of my story, I'm only here in America because of my safety.
Yes.
So one of the reasons that I really don't want anybody else to go through what I've gone through is to build a rescue center that will be guarded and girls will feel at home. They'll not be mindful of what's going on, because in there they will find love and the empowerment. Because for me to be here is education. As much as I want to provide safety for them, I want to provide them with education, because it gives them confidence. So community, I'm trying to find people to match them with the 11 girls that I have right now to be able to give them the education that they deserve.
Yes.
In fact, the education is very cheap in Kenya, but it is not affordable for us.
Yes.
And I always invite people that hear me, like, if only you can skip one day coffee, you are able to do magic thing for a girl in Kenya. Like $10, if you can give $10, is able to give a food basket for food. 3 meals for a family, not even one girl. And also other than education platform that I invite people to give is that I am in a mission to reach millions of people, to create self-awareness about sexual violence, to educate people what sexual violence is all about. Because sometimes I go to places, and then when I say sexual violence, everybody thinks is rape. And there are so many other things. So I am in a mission to educate people what is sexual violence and to break the culture, because we come from a culture that make even rape happen more and more. Yes. So I'm creating awareness to the community, including the police, the teachers, the village elders, everybody that can hear us, so that together we can be able to end the cycle of sexual violence. Because for sure it has happened so much, especially with this pandemic. So many people have come to me, writing to me that they have been raped by an uncle who pays their school fees, and they are forced to keep quiet, because if they say, they will not continue with their education.
Money for their education.
So you find it's a difficult time for me to even decide, because I really want to help you, but you are in an unsafe environment. I don't have a safe house to take you myself, and I even don't have the money to pay for your school. So sometimes it even becomes so hard for me, and I sometimes don't know how to help. So I'm inviting people who hear me and who would like to touch a girl's life to volunteer, not necessarily giving money. There are so many skills. There are many things that people can do for a charity organization to move toward the impact that we want to create in the nation.
Awesome. I love chatting with you. One thing that I do want to go back and get, because I don't think we shared this with the audience before, and that is that you are here in the States, but you are here for your safety. And that's part of the story. We can say that she's here for her safety, and she is safe now, but I love that you're still reaching back and doing the work, even though you had to flee for your own safety. Because that's just how much of a fight she took. She took towards the people that violated her and the position that they held. She stood strong, and so now she's here for safety. But you're still reaching back to make a difference in the lives of those young ladies back home as well.
And I was separated from my son. Like, it's been a year without seeing my son.
Yes. And so she had to leave her son behind. And I think the last time we chatted, that was one of the major things you said, is like, it was so hard for you because you had to choose whether you were going to leave for your safety or stay to be with your son and risk losing it all, including your life. And so you moved and you said, I'm going to go so that we both can be safe. And I know as a mother, that was one of the hardest choices you've had to make, for sure.
Yes. And for example, like only today in the morning. So my child is like in a boarding school, is a rescue center in Kenya. Only today at night, the dormitory where he sleep burned down. And I was called to be told that the whole school has burned down. Wow. The children are not safe. We need, some of these things are even hard for me, but there's not much that I can do. But I always want to say that if only we can be able to give safety to anybody. And one thing I love about America, and I always listen to people saying how it's unsafe it is for them. Right. One thing that I love about America, like, I feel so safe. I never get somebody who question me. I'm always walking the way I want. And I wish the feeling that I have here in America in terms of safety can go back to my son. My son can experience, and even the other girls who I support. Yeah. Because it's a difficult situation, but we have to do what we have to do.
And I'm just sitting here thinking, because I'm like, man, with all that we are going through just as Black people here in America, is like, we're like, this is bad. This, we're fighting for things here for us. We're fighting for justice for us here. To even hear that it's even, for the lack of a better description, worse in your country where you came from. It's even worse. And for you to look at our system and be like, oh, this is a cakewalk compared to what I do.
Oh, yes.
It's like, wow. That saying where if you think you have it bad, there's always someone else who has it worse. Like, that's that moment. I'm like, man, this is happening all over. But I certainly commend you on the wonderful work that you are doing. I love that you took your lemons, you took your pain and your brokenness, and you turned it into something, as you and I talk about all the time, something beautiful. Something that is reaching back and making a difference. And that's one of the things that we here at B3rdPower love to do, is to highlight people that are literally making a difference in their community, doing things to bridge the gap and build community. And you are so much being intentional, for sure. So it has been such a joy just having you on with us tonight. I'm so sorry that Sherry missed you, but hopefully we'll be able to bring you back later on in the season, and she'll be able to sit down and chat with you as well, because she has her own story that's not quite as like yours, but she has her own story as well. But I certainly thank you so much for all that you do. How can people get in contact with you or reach out if they want to help, or, any way that they want to help? How can they get in contact with you?
People can just Google Wounded Healers Kenya, and remember to put Kenya, because I noticed there are so many wounded healers. And we have a website, www.woundedhealer.org, without an S.
Yes.
And I can be reached via all social media: Eunice Nuna, Facebook, Eunice Nuna, LinkedIn, and at Free Spirit Human Instagram, or Eunice Nuna.
Yes. Lovely. If there is one thing, before we let you go, if there was one thing that you wanted to leave with our audience and our viewers tonight, what thought would you like to leave with them?
Wow. I always want to tell people that they come first. That's always my biggest information that I want to live. We carry so much, like personally, I carry so much, but I always want to remind myself I come first. I even come first before my son.
Yes.
And
I come first. Yes.
It's not about being selfish. It's about what matters to you. Because if you're not okay yourself, you cannot give anything good to other people. So work on yourself, create self-awareness, love yourself. You can only give love when you understand what love feel like, but you cannot give love when you don't have. So for me, I love myself so much, and I have so much love to give, and I'm always willing and so open to support any survivor of sexual violence, no matter how long it happened. We are in this together.
Absolutely. I love it. I have so enjoyed talking with you tonight. Guys, be sure to go over to woundedhealer.org. That's woundedhealer, no S.org. Check her out. Check out the wonderful work that they are doing. And if you do feel so inclined, please be sure to go ahead and make a donation to help them out. I so appreciate you. I love speaking with you. I cannot wait to talk to you again because we have so many more things to accomplish together. Yes. But I thank you. Again, go over, check her out, guys. Woundedhealer.org. If you want to follow her on LinkedIn, Eunice Nuna. And remember, you can always catch up with her on Instagram at Free Spirit Human. Well, that's all we have for now, but I'm sure you're going to see more of Miss Nuna in the coming months. But we do have to take a quick break. This is B3rdPower here on U Broadcast Media. B3rdPower here on U Broadcast Media. Listen, we have had one amazing show tonight. Do you hear me? For all of you all that are looking for ways to take a quick break and watch something good, we had the magnificent Jeffrey Lyles from Lyles Movie Files. All those good shows we talked about. I definitely have a couple that I'll be adding back to my list. Remember to go check him out on YouTube at Lyles Movie Files, right? And then, oh my goodness, Miss Eunice Nuna. Wow, I love talking to her. She is such an inspiration, and we didn't even have time to get all the way into her story in depth. But again, go reach out to her, guys. Go look at the work that she's doing. It's such a great work, and it's so needed, right? The one thing that I love about doing B3rdPower is we are not just a local show, we are a global show. So we're able to reach far and beyond just the DMV area. So for all of you guys that are watching abroad, if you're near Kenya and you want to help all out, or if you're here in the States and you want to make a donation, please go check her out at woundedhealer.org. You want to keep up and help. These are some great initiatives, and I love that she took her pain and her brokenness and she turned it, she flipped that thing to make a difference in the lives of those around her that have been through what she's been through, as well as to prevent it. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, you know what happens. Time always flies when we're having fun. But I just want to remind you guys, again, if you are interested in being a guest here on B3rdPower, be sure to reach out to us at B3rdPower@gmail.com. That's B3rdPower@gmail.com. Be sure to tell us a little bit about yourself and the great things that you have going on and the positive impact that you want to share, wait a minute, with the world, right? Because we're global. So make sure you hit us up if you're interested in being a guest. We certainly are, have our calendar for later on in 2021 open. So we want to get you on before the end of the season for sure. Be sure, if you missed an episode, go on over to YouTube, to our channel. That's B3rdPower. Go on over to YouTube and check us out. There you'll be able to see many of our episodes from past seasons and the current season, so you can catch up and you won't have missed a beat. All right. What is the theme here? Go check us out. What do? B3rdPower.com at Gmail, or just simply B3rdPower for YouTube. All right. Remember, guys, today is always a great day to make a difference in the lives of those around you. All right. Make a positive difference. Be intentional about what you're doing. The world needs you. The world needs your story. The world needs to know what you're up to and how you're making an impact and how you're able to help them too. So don't be shy. All right. Be sure to help someone else around you. I am Lynn Tate. Time always flies when you're having fun, but that's it for tonight, guys. I miss you, Sherry. Can't wait to see you and tell you all about this wonderful episode that you missed. But until then, you guys be safe, be well, and I will see you next week. All right. Have a good one.